Hello, everyone. It's so wonderful to be here with you. I'm Jackie Stewart. I'm a meditation instructor at Alo Moves. And I just want to take a moment to thank you. Thank you for joining for this tune-in retreat. Thank you for being here for the last session of the weekend. And maybe we can even just pause and take a moment to have a little appreciation for ourselves, for investing our time in this way, for really dedicating an entire weekend to coming back and taking care of this human being over here. So many of us are going through times of uncertainty. There's a lot of unrest happening in the world. And so to be able to just pause and really take this opportunity to kind of settle all of the distraction, settle ourselves from that tendency to be doing all the time, that habit can be so strong for us that we really forget how to be. And we can forget about who we are and the things that we really care about. And so for me, that's what this weekend is all about, is really coming back and tuning into who am I as I'm showing up in the world. And as I come back to being, can that inform whatever it is that I'm doing? Because the idea is that we take this time to retreat, not to kind of turn away from the world, but to just take a step back so that we can remember who we are, so that we can spring back into action, so that we can show up in a way that can feel helpful and useful in the world. And so I'd like to just share a quote by Thich Nhat Hanh that I find so beautiful as far as really illustrating this capacity to be in the world and with whatever it is that we are engaged with. So he says, if while washing dishes, we think only of the cup of tea that awaits us, thus hurrying to get the dishes out of the way as if they were a nuisance, then we're not washing the dishes to wash the dishes. What's more, we're not alive during the time that we are washing the dishes. In fact, we're completely incapable of realizing the miracle of life while standing at the sink. If we can't wash the dishes, the chances are we won't be able to drink our tea either. While drinking the cup of tea, we will only be thinking of the other things, barely aware of the cup in our hands. Thus, we are sucked away into the future, and we are incapable of actually living 1 minute of life. And what I find so illustrative about this quote is this tendency that so many of us have to get pulled away into the future or really caught up in the past. And we can really bring all of those things into the present moment. And when we're sort of busied by those things, then we really miss that direct experience of truly making contact, really having that connection with whatever it is that's right in front of us. So I'd like for us to just take some time in our practice today to come back to this place of being and remember who we are and who we are wanting to show up as we do move through the world. And then maybe even think about this time as an opportunity to really integrate what we practiced over the weekend. You know, if we plugged in a really beautiful way that we're not just thinking about it as, you know, this time that I'm practicing and then there's the whole rest of my life, right? And there's sort of a disconnection there. But that we can really think about it as formal practice that can set us up for our informal practice. And this is really what the quote by Thich Nhat Hanh points to, is the fact that we do practice in a really formal way, so that as we move about our life, as we attend to things, even really simple things like making a cup of tea, or it might be having a conversation with somebody that we really care about, that we've laid the ground for being able to show up fully in those moments. And so I'd like for you to please join me in a comfortable position wherever you are, and finding a posture that feels really supportive for you. So maybe that's sitting upright, maybe you're in a couch or on a chair, maybe you're on a cushion, on the floor, wherever that is. See if you can just settle in and get comfortable. Let your hands rest on your legs or in your lap. And then you can gently close your eyes here. Or you can lower the gaze and find a soft focus a few feet in front of you if you'd rather practice with your eyes open. And we can start by just deepening the breath. In a way, it's like we're inviting ourselves back into simplicity. Into allowing ourselves to be right here in this moment. Meeting things as they are. Meeting ourselves as we are. So while allowing that breath to be nice and long and deep right now, with each exhale, I'd like to invite you to just allow any tension or stress you might be carrying in the mind or in the body to release. That you could just let that go with each exhale. Feeling yourself settling into your body more and more. Really allowing yourself to settle into this spot in this moment. And then allowing your breath to return to its natural rhythm. So breathing in a way that just feels really easy. No need to force anything or really change anything. Finding a naturalness. Naturalness in our breath. Naturalness in our presence. And so from here, let's take an opportunity to just feel our sit bones pressing down beneath us. That we could feel the weight of our body right here on this spot on earth. On this wonderful earth that supports us in so many ways. And so often in the busyness of our lives, we can feel quite disconnected from this home that we all share. So we just take this opportunity to make contact, to plug back in. So we might feel as though we could extend roots down through our sit bones and into this earth. Remember our connection here. And then our ability to rise tall, to sit with strength and presence. So from our sit bones, we extend upward through the spine, reaching upward like a tree toward the sky, with this lightness around our head and our shoulders. And then we find this sense of balance. Balance here in the body, so we're strong, yet soft. So we can feel that strength in our back, while maintaining this softness in our muscles and in our chest. So we might even feel a softening here in the chest area. Maybe revealing an opening in the heart. Because in all the ways that we feel disconnected, It's like that part of our heart just closes up and we can feel so separate. So here you might even imagine breathing into your heart area, into your chest. And with each inhale, you could just feel this expansion. Like your heart could just get a little bit bigger. A little bit softer. Opening up a little more. And we do this without any force, any pushing at all. So it's really this invitation, this allowing to settle, to relax into our own body, into our own experience, and to just open back up. Maybe even remembering that we are these naturally open, vibrant beings. But sometimes when we get caught up and we get really busy, that openness isn't so available to us. So we take this time to practice, to come back, and to intentionally soften so we can open back up, reconnect with ourselves, and the world, and the people around us. That as we sit here in our beingness, the mind is here with the body. So often it can feel like the mind is scattered, that it's all over the place. And so when the mind and the body are together, this is often what we would call presence. So here with the mind, with the body, opening ourselves up to the environment around us by taking in any sounds that might be present. Noticing the quality of the air around us. If there's a coolness or a warmth in the air. Whether the air feels damp or dry. Or whether we notice movement or stillness. That from this place of being, in a really simple way, we can become so curious and open and connected to the very world around us. Just by reconnecting to our senses, we can plug back in. Plug back into what's happening right now in this moment. And then perhaps from this place of being, we can take a moment to reflect back on the weekend. Maybe taking some time to acknowledge the journey that we went on, from the first session to the last. What came up for us? Maybe even noticing all the different feelings or experiences that came up in every session of practice. That probably no two sessions were exactly the same, that we are these dynamic human beings that are constantly shifting and changing. And we just take a look back on our journey. Noticing any shifts that took place. Any growth that may have come from taking this time. Maybe there was one particular moment that really stood out to us. So let that moment in. Or maybe you noticed a theme that came up for you a lot during the retreat. Maybe that theme fits into the larger picture of your life and might even inform you about how you'd like to integrate this practice moving forward. So however the weekend was for you, maybe just taking a moment to thank yourself for that practice, for that time. And then right here together, we're going to let go of it all. So with one deep breath, let's just let the entire weekend go with a big exhale. So please take this inhale with me. And letting it go out through the mouth. And then right here on the spot in this moment, we're going to practice tuning in. How do I feel right now in this moment? Can I allow for however I'm feeling to be there? Can I honor that? And then I might give myself an opportunity to let a word emerge for me. Some takeaway from this retreat. So whether it was one moment that really stood out to me or the theme through the practice, if I could come away with one word, what would that word be? And I'm feeling like we could just imprint that word right here. In this state of being. So that it can inform and show up in all the ways that we step out into the world as we do whatever it is that we do. Let's take one last nice deep breath here to round out our practice. Exhaling, letting it all go. And then gently blinking your eyes open or lifting your gaze. And then really giving yourself the opportunity to honor yourself for taking this time to reconnect with yourself, with the world and the people around you. Because remembering that this practice isn't just for us, that we do this practice so that we transform our experience, changes from the inside out. And by way of doing this practice, our perception changes. And then our relationships and the way that we even view the world is transformed through our practice. So I'd like for us to just take a moment and maybe jot down the word that came up for us during our reflection. So what is so wonderful about just taking this opportunity to write down your word is that I'd like to invite you to place this word somewhere in your living space, so that as we continue with our lives and move about the world doing all the things that we do, that in those moments where we do find ourselves feeling a little caught up or a little disconnected, that we might catch that word in our periphery, that we might find it in our space, and that just by seeing that can be this visual cue to just come right back to this place of connection, to come right back to this whole practice that I did of tuning in, and that I can remember that everything that I do can be infused from this place of being, maybe even from that word that I wrote down. So thank you so much, everyone. Again, my name is Jackie Stewart. It was such an honor to be here with all of you, closing out our retreat weekend. Thank you for joining this Alo Moves Tune In Retreat, and I hope to see you again soon on Alo Moves.